Hi, everybody, and welcome back, because this is actually going to be part 2 of the last video that we just recorded. And it's really because I realized as soon as I got off that we talked about how you create your passion in the world, and Kristen asked about, this is Kristen, by the way. How do you get aligned with what you want to do? So how do you find your true calling and passion in the world? And can you make good money at it? And so we got to from heal me to serve we to impact world as being the big structure. So you got to first find out what it is in you that needs the deepest healing. For me, it was learning how to communicate and communicate effectively with other people, especially in conflict, to know myself well enough that I can articulate it to other people. As soon as I learned that, I then thought to myself, well, how can this serve others? Well, then I looked around the world and I saw passive aggressiveness, gossip, power and hierarchy, toxic work cultures, people being in relationships that have long since expired. And I realized, oh my God, there's so many ways, like every day I could help other people. So that's the serve we part of this. And then I realized, oh, I actually really care about world peace. And this would take us one step closer to that. And so I'm going to do my part to heal me, serve we, and impact world through communication. So that's the model that we talked about last time. And we found out that, Kristen, what did you learn about yourself around what you're most passionate about?
I'm most passionate when I have an experience where there's an exchange between myself and another person, and that person is able to move forward from one place that they were to a place where they wanted to go.
Yeah, so you love being a catalyst for transformation in other people. Yeah. And the good part is you also like to do your own work, because there's some people who want to give everybody else advice but aren't willing to do their own work. But you're one of the people who's like the real deal. You want to do your own work and you want to help other people. Yeah?
That's great. That was a really good observation. Yes.
So the reason we're doing the second part of this is, what about the money aspect? What about making good money doing what you love? How many of you out there are just, maybe you already know what it is you'd love to do, but you don't think you can make good money at it. And so you, in effect, sell your soul, right? And exchange it for the paycheck. Now, there's a real and practical aspect to this. If you've got a family, you've got bills to pay, there's a real and practical aspect. So I'm not telling you to, just jump off the cliff and the parachute will happen on your way down. That's not what I'm saying. But if you think about what heals you, serves others, and impacts the world, that's one end. Watch the last video for that one, part 1. Part 2 now is, what about our relationship to money? And a lot of times, right, we face issues in our world where women get paid less than men. So there's a discrepancy there. And the question then becomes, it's a self-worth discrepancy. Money is energy. It's an exchange of energy. And it's us asking for and only accepting that which we believe is okay. Because in the end, we apply for a job, someone gives us how much they're going to pay us, and we say, okay, where can I sign? And every 2 weeks, no matter how upset you are in your job, you're still accepting that exchange in your bank account. So you have made an agreement with somebody else that this is what you're worth. At this point in time, for this gift or skill set, this is what you're worth. So my hope is that your gifts and skill set fit a need of an organization, number 1. And number 2, that you feel good about what the money is that's coming in for your exchange of energy. So Kristen, let's just take you as an example here. When I explore money in the groups that I lead for women and the circles, also for teens, for adults, money is a hot button topic for stress for people. And a lot of that is because they haven't explored their relationship to money. So would you be willing to be the guinea pig to do a little bit of that?
Of course.
All right. So let's start by you just answering these questions as honestly as you can. All right.
Okay.
How would you describe your family's financial circumstances as you grew up?
Sure. My family's financial circumstances, they were both teachers, and my mom actually worked multiple jobs. She was a single mom, and she had children pretty young. So they worked hard. They lived check to check. They believed in credit. And when payday came around, there was a red book that had all of the bills itemized, and you checked off when you paid the bills.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was, each parent had a role. Mom took on utilities and food. Dad took on car, mortgage, and my mom took it. So there was separation of bills as well. And everything was itemized, and everyone knew, okay, here's payday, and this is what needs to happen when payday comes.
Wow. So you had a very organized household. It was a very clearly divided roles. It sounds like your parents were really hardworking. They were in service in the world, and it was hard. It wasn't like there was this abundance of money everywhere, right? It was like money was a thing that was on your mind.
Absolutely. And when it was communicated to both my sister and I, when we turned 16, we were responsible for everything outside of food and shelter. So literally the day that we turned 16, we had a job. We had to have a job to cover anything else that we wanted to do, including get to and from school. So yes, that transfer of how you valued money was transferred very, very early on.
Yeah. So tell me, who was a saver, who was a spender, who was impulsive, who was mindful, who invested, like who were those people? And
did you say invest? Was that invest? Was that?
Yeah, there wasn't money to invest.
Right. No, my mom, she was a spendthrift. So she still wears clothes that I gave her 10 years ago. So she loves thrift stores and consignments, and she believes that everything has value. And my father, the only person in my immediate family, and when I'll say that is an uncle, he was a VP of a bank, but there was always like a distant relationship, and it was like, oh my gosh, he has a healthy exchange of money. He has a surplus. He has an abundance. You can see it in the jewelry and the clothes and the travel and the home, but it didn't directly impact my life.
Yeah. And what did you say about your dad?
So he was a teacher, and you're right. Their lives were in pure service to the church, to school, to organizations, to mentorship. They gave and gave and gave of themselves.
So what a great question that you asked in our last video, which was, is it possible to be able to serve and have money? Because really what you're saying is, do I have to sell my soul and not do that thing I love in order to make good money? Or can I love what I do, and can I merge my parents with my uncle?
Yes.
Yes. So it's like a money history. So if I was going to go through the whole thing with you, right, I'd ask how you spent holidays and birthdays in the household. Did you feel celebrated? And if you did you get the gifts you wanted? I'd talk to you about this, chores, and if you got an allowance, and what you were really taught in your family about people who were rich and people who were poor, and how it all, basically, flushed out. So that's something called a money history. And so you just did such a great job of like starting us down that path. What things are going aha for you? What connections are being made right now about how that relates to you now?
Absolutely. So it is an aha that I've never seen. So most people, for me, if I can see it, even just in my head, it can be a place of faith for me and I can attain it, right? So if I don't, in this conversation, it became clear to me that I don't even have a tangible picture to envision in my mind of how that could meld my uncle's income or beyond with doing what I love.
Mm-hmm. Your uncle's income is just a symbol of abundance.
Yes.
Right? You get to define what that actually is. Right? But you had someone in your life for whom you had the tangible experience of abundance. Right? And so that will elicit how it felt, you know, the interest or the desire for it. Now, there's the idea around your money history and where it all came from. And then there's your current relationship to money. So tell me what money gives you.
Freedom.
Freedom,
liberation, time. Freedom for time to spend with my children. Freedom to work on me more and read books and do classes. Freedom to care for what God has given me already and is in my stewardship. And to celebrate and be with friends and to travel and see other cultures, see how other people live. That, to me, that is the value that money gives.
How beautiful. So here's the deal. Your parents believed in debt and they believed in living check to check. Do you find that in yourself?
I don't want to, but I feel I'm trying to break that vibration, Neha.
Yeah, but you want to you want to start by saying, oh, my money history taught me about my current relationship with money. So I get to create this tangible new vision that can change that because you are in service. You are somebody from the moment I met you that is deeply in service to whoever you are with. You are present. You are connected. You would make an incredible coach, leader, mentor, whatever it is you decide on this path that feels like the right piece for you, right? It's going to be incredible. Now I want to ask you another question. On a scale of 1 to 10, which is 1 is uncomfortable and 10 is very comfortable, how comfortable are you in relation to receiving money from someone else?
I'm getting better. I learned a valuable lesson from my sister about 1.5 years ago. She was trying to gift me with something, and I kept saying, oh, no, it's okay. And the lesson was, you block the other person's blessing if you don't allow them to give. And it opened up my world that I certainly didn't want to block anyone else's ability for increase. But then I also had to give myself grace to say, you're worth pouring into.
Gosh, I can feel that in my heart. That's the piece on self-worth. Because yes, we can balance. And isn't it more interesting to balance getting something for yourself as it is serving other people, what you use it for? Wow. Well, that really just touched me. Thank you for that. So around money, right? There's self-worth, but there's also this cultural aspect of it, which is of lack.
Yes.
That there's not enough and I need more. And if I have more, that means you get less. And the idea that, one of the people who I learn about money from is Lynn Twist. Do you know Lynn Twist?
No, I have not heard that name.
All right. Well, I have her book sitting here since we decided to do the second part of this. It's called...
I did read the book. Yes, I listened to it on Audible.
Okay. Now, another one, and I really love Lynn's, her philosophy, her own energy around the flow of money. She's practical. She's spiritual. She's really, really deeply connected to money and the power of money when it is used in a way to heal. Because we all know money can be used in a way to destroy.
Yes, you're exactly right. I'll pick that back up. I was listening to her book on Audible, and I think I made it through the first chapter, so I'll pick it back up.
Oh, she's amazing. And then the second one is The Art of Money by Barry Tesler.
Okay.
And this one, I brought this up because in 2008, I started my money journey with her. And she taught me things like make a list. I was like, oh, budgeting, that sounds awful. And she said, well, that's because you put things like rent down and you put things like food down. Tell me why those matter. And I said to her, oh, it's my sanctuary. It's like my home. It's like my safe place. And she said, great. Next to the amount, I want you to strike out rent, and I want you to put creating a sacred home, a sanctuary, because that's what you value. And that's why you're willing to exchange this money with it. And so she taught me that it wasn't really about those categories. It was about what I valued about those categories. And then the other one is The Energy of Money, right? And this one's by Maria Nemeth. And I think there's some really great questions in there. And so, I hope that gives you all some resources to start exploring not only your money history, but your relationship with money, so that you can get a clearer idea of why sometimes you pick up the whole bill instead of sitting in the discomfort of asking everybody, how would we like to handle this at the end of dinner?
Yes. I agree.
Yeah. So, Kristen, what are your takeaways?
Thank you for the educational resources. I will pick those back up, and understanding my value and really attaching the value to what the words are and what I've connected in my past with. It doesn't have to be. And I think the other big takeaway is it's limitless. I've always felt as though abundance and wealth, God has given us so much wealth on this earth that there's enough for everyone. Mm-hmm. You're not detracting from someone else if you gain more. So yes, thank you for this.
You are so welcome. And for all of you out there, remember that money is energy, and the exchange of money is an exchange of energy. And that your gifts and skill sets just need to meet the need of an organization. And if they don't, maybe you need to start an organization that does. Does just that. And really importantly, right, what is your relationship, your money history? How did you learn about money? And moving forward, what is your current relationship to money, and what do you want your relationship to money to be? So thank you, Kristen. Thank you for sharing your life and your experiences. And here's to each one of us believing in ourselves, believing in abundance, and believing in our own self-worth.
Thank you, Neha.